The camera glides through a sun-dappled suburban morning, the kind painted in hues so vibrant they feel artificial. We float past white picket fences where sprinklers create miniature rainbows, settling on the Carter residence where the morning ritual unfolds with military precision. David Carter moves through his home like a man who's rehearsed this performance for years. His fingers knot his son's tie with practiced ease, the same way he tightens the noose of his own double life every day. The kitchen smells of bacon and lies, the sizzle on the griddle masking the quiet dread in his wife's eyes as she hands him his lunchbox. Notice how his reflection in the hallway mirror lingers a fraction too long after he's walked away. See how the family photos on the wall show teeth, but not eyes. The newspaper he collects from the driveway bears yesterday's date. These aren't mistakes. They're breadcrumbs left deliberately for the audience to find. When his phone vibrates with a message from Gym Buddy, the screen reflects not his face in the darkened glass, but someone else entirely. The coffee machine gurgles like a dying man's last breath as he walks out the door, leaving behind a home that's equal parts sanctuary and stage set. The genius of this scene lives in what's not shown. The way the dog won't meet his gaze, the single wine glass in the sink from last night, the neighbor who stops mid-wave when he thinks no one's looking. Every frame is a lie wrapped in normalcy, a ticking bomb disguised as domestic bliss. By the time we see his car turn left instead of right at the end of the street, the audience already knows. This isn't a story about a man living two lives. It's about a ghost who forgot which version of himself was real. The scene fades with the sound of a garage door closing, the mechanical whine perfectly matching the tone of his wife's unanswered question from last night that still hangs in the air. Do you even remember our first date? In this carefully constructed nightmare of suburban perfection, the truth isn't hidden in shadows. It's screaming at us from every sunlit surface, if we dare to look closely enough. The morning light bleeds through half-drawn blinds, slicing the Carter kitchen into alternating stripes of illumination and shadow. David moves through these light barriers with unconscious precision, his body instinctively avoiding exposure as he prepares breakfast. The sizzle of bacon provides rhythmic cover for the quiet dread permeating this domestic theater. His morning ritual unfolds with metronomic precision. 6:47. Kisses his wife's cheek without making skin contact, 6:52. Adjusts his son's backpack strap while subtly checking his watch, 6:58. Pours orange juice into the same glass he's used for 427 consecutive mornings. Every movement is calculated, yet fluid, the muscle memory of a man who's worn this identity long enough to forget it's a costume. The kitchen smells of lemons and lies, the citrus-scented cleaner unable to mask the metallic tang of secrets buried just beneath the surface. The family calendar shows dentist appointments every Tuesday at 3:15 p.m. in perfect cursive. His reflection in the toaster shows a different tie than the one he's actually wearing. The dog's water bowl has two names etched into the metal, one carefully scratched out. When his phone chimes with a reminder for gym session, the screen reflects not just his face in the darkened glass, but another face superimposed, a ghost of who he really is. The coffee machine gurgles like a drowning man as he walks out the door, leaving behind a half-empty mug with lipstick stains that don't match his wife's shade, a newspaper folded to reveal a circled obituary from 3 states away, the faint smell of hotel soap clinging to his discarded sweater. The camera lingers on his abandoned breakfast plate, the bacon arranged in a perfect Fibonacci spiral, the orange juice untouched. Through the window, we watch his car pause at the stop sign for exactly 3 seconds too long before turning left instead of right. As the garage door closes with a hydraulic sigh, the house settles into the kind of silence only possible when the audience knows something the characters don't. The final shot pulls back through the kitchen window to reveal the neighbor across the street, standing motionless in his own doorway, watching David's departure with the intensity of someone who's seen this exact performance too many times before. Fade to black with the sound of a pencil snapping, the same sound we'll later recognize as the moment his alibi breaks. The illusion begins to fracture in the most mundane of places, a crumpled receipt protruding from the pocket of David's discarded jacket. The camera lingers on this insignificant slip of paper as it flutters to the kitchen floor like a dying leaf, its importance not yet apparent in the golden hour glow of late afternoon sunlight. His wife's hand enters frame, fingers hesitating mid-air before plucking the paper from the checkerboard tiles. The receipt appears ordinary at first glance, a $14.32 charge from Green Valley Market dated yesterday, but as her thumb smooths the thermal paper, the truth reveals itself in increments. 3:27 p.m., when David was supposedly in a client meeting. A grocery store 27 miles outside their town, a faint lipstick smudge in crimson sunrise, a shade she's never worn. The refrigerator hums ominously as she moves to the junk drawer, retrieving a magnifying glass from beneath tangled phone chargers. Under magnification, the receipt's pixels tell a different story. The faint outline of a motel keycard beneath the grocery store logo, a partial line of redacted text reading, 217. The cashier's name, Linda, matches David's claimed gym receptionist. Her fingers fly across a laptop keyboard, pulling up their shared Google timeline. The screen glows accusingly in the darkening kitchen, showing David's phone pinged at 3:15 p.m. Still at his office, 3:32 p.m. Suddenly at the gym, 4:47 p.m. Back at work. But the timestamps don't add up. The gym is a 22-minute drive from his office. The camera pushes in on the map interface as she clicks Street View, revealing the gym's storefront now houses a boarded-up laundromat that closed 3 years prior. The sound of doubt. A faucet drips in the background, each falling water droplet syncing with the ticking kitchen clock, still stuck at 3:14, the metronome in their son's abandoned piano book, the pulse visibly throbbing in her neck. The scene culminates with her opening their medicine cabinet, the mirror reflecting not just her face, but the shadow of someone standing in the hallway behind her. As she whirls around, the frame freezes on an empty doorway, the only evidence a single men's dress shoe, not David's size, left precisely centered on the welcome mat. The camera pulls back through the kitchen window as night falls, the previously cheerful house now cast in ominous blue shadows, its windows glowing like eyes in the darkness. Somewhere in the distance, a car engine turns over, the same distinctive cough of the sedan that's been parked down the street every Tuesday for months. Fade to black with the sound of a text message notification, the screen lighting up with a preview that reads, "Don't forget about tomorrow," before the scene cuts to silence. This scene represents a profound shift in the protagonist's journey, where they undergo a fundamental transformation, whether literal, psychological, or metaphysical. It often follows a major catalyst that forces the character into a new state of being, altering their perception, abilities, or very existence. The core of this scene revolves around rebirth and reinvention. The protagonist is no longer who they once were. They may awaken in a new body, a different reality, or with an entirely changed worldview. This transformation is rarely seamless. Instead, it comes with disorientation, existential questioning, and often resistance. The character must reconcile their past identity with this new version of themselves, leading to internal and external conflicts. In many stories, this moment introduces a new world or rules that the protagonist must navigate. If the scene follows a death and resurrection arc, the character might return with enhanced abilities, a darker perspective, or a mission they didn't have before. If the shift is psychological, the character may see their surroundings differently, noticing things they once ignored or being alienated from their former life. A crucial aspect of The Second Life is its emotional weight. The audience should feel the gravity of this change, whether it's awe, dread, or tragic irony. If the protagonist has been given a second chance, is it a blessing or a curse? Are they truly free, or are they bound by new limitations? Some stories explore this through identity loss. Does the character remember who they were, or are they a blank slate? Others use it as a way to explore duality, where the protagonist must balance their old self with their new existence. This scene also reshapes the narrative's direction. New antagonists may emerge, old allies might become enemies, or the protagonist's goals could completely reverse. If the story is a hero's journey, this might be the moment they fully embrace their destiny. In darker tales, it could mark the point where the protagonist loses their humanity, becoming what they once fought against. In science fiction, a character might be resurrected through cloning, digital consciousness transfer, or cybernetic enhancement, leading to existential crises. In fantasy and mythology, resurrection, reincarnation, or divine intervention can grant a second life. In psychological horror or thrillers, a character might wake up in an unfamiliar reality, unsure if they're dreaming, dead, or trapped. This moment in storytelling serves as the fulcrum upon which the narrative balances, where concealed truths emerge from shadows and reshape the trajectory of the tale. The power of a reveal lies not merely in the shock of new information, but in how it reconfigures everything that came before and everything that must follow. A masterful reveal operates on multiple levels, engaging both the intellect and emotions of the audience. It begins with careful cultivation of expectation, where the storyteller plants seeds of doubt or alternative possibilities throughout the preceding narrative. These subtle hints create a foundation, so when the revelation arrives, it carries the weight of inevitability rather than feeling like a contrived surprise. The most effective reveals make audiences gasp, not because they were impossible to foresee, but because they realize they should have seen it coming all along. The timing of such moments proves crucial to their impact. Arriving too early, the reveal may fail to land with sufficient force. Coming too late, it risks feeling like an afterthought rather than an integral part of the story's architecture. The storyteller must gauge the precise moment when anticipation peaks, when the audience's need for answers becomes almost palpable, and then deliver the truth with precision. Various forms exist within this narrative device. Some reveals unfold gradually, like dawn breaking across a landscape, where understanding comes in waves rather than a single flash. Others strike like lightning, sudden, brilliant, and transformative in an instant. The nature of the story often dictates which approach serves best. A mystery might benefit from slow unraveling, while a psychological thriller might require a jolting moment of clarity. Beyond plot mechanics, the most memorable reveals resonate because they alter our understanding of the characters involved. A hidden identity exposed, a long-buried secret confessed, or a fundamental misunderstanding corrected. These revelations change how we perceive motivations and relationships. They force characters to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves or others, creating rich opportunities for emotional development and conflict. The aftermath of a reveal often proves as important as the moment itself. How characters respond to uncovered truths, with denial, acceptance, or transformation, drives the narrative forward with renewed purpose. A well-constructed reveal doesn't simply provide answers. It generates new, more compelling questions that propel the story toward its conclusion. In examining classic examples across literature and film, we see how reveals function as narrative linchpins. The chilling confession in a detective story that redefines our understanding of the crime. The science fiction twist that recasts the entire fictional universe. The romantic revelation that forces characters to reconsider their entire relationship. Each serves as a turning point that separates the story into before and after, demonstrating the transformative power of truth unveiled. The craft behind such moments requires meticulous attention to detail. Every element, from dialogue cues to visual symbolism, must work in concert to make the reveal feel earned rather than arbitrary. When executed with skill, these scenes become the moments audiences remember long after the story ends. The flashes of insight that elevate good storytelling into the realm of the unforgettable. The twist ending stands as one of storytelling's most potent devices, a carefully constructed narrative detonation that reconfigures everything the audience thought they understood. Unlike conventional resolutions that tie stories in satisfying bows, the twist ending deliberately unravels expectations, forcing viewers to re-examine the entire narrative through a new, often unsettling lens. This technique doesn't merely surprise, it fundamentally alters the story's DNA in retrospect. Masterful twist endings operate on multiple temporal planes. They function in the present moment as shocking revelations, while simultaneously reaching backward to reshape past events and forward to color the story's ultimate meaning. The most effective examples create a cognitive dissonance that lingers long after the story concludes, as audiences mentally revisit earlier scenes searching for clues they missed. This recursive quality transforms passive viewing into active engagement, making the twist ending particularly memorable. The architecture of a successful twist relies on meticulous groundwork. Early scenes must contain all necessary components for the eventual revelation, yet present them in ways that don't alert viewers to their significance. This delicate balance between concealment and fair play represents the twist's central paradox. The solution must feel both startling and inevitable once revealed. Too obvious, and it fails to surprise. Too obscure, and it feels unearned. The storyteller walks a tightrope between misleading the audience and cheating them. Several distinct varieties of twist endings have emerged across storytelling traditions. Some reveal hidden identities, exposing that a trusted character was someone else entirely. Others disclose that the narrative reality wasn't what it seemed. Dreams, simulations, or alternate timelines. A particularly powerful subtype involves perspective shifts, where the audience suddenly understands they've been experiencing the story through an unreliable narrator or from an unexpected viewpoint. Each variation serves different narrative purposes, from thematic reinforcement to emotional devastation. The emotional impact of a twist ending often exceeds its plot significance. Beyond changing what happened, the best twists alter how we feel about what happened. A romantic revelation might retroactively tinge sweet moments with bitterness, or a horrific disclosure might transform apparent victories into Pyrrhic ones. This emotional recalibration demonstrates the twist's true power. It doesn't just change the story's facts, but its very soul. The audience leaves not with simple surprise, but with a profoundly altered understanding of the narrative's heart. Timing proves crucial in twist execution. The revelation must come late enough to maximize impact, yet early enough to allow proper denouement. Some stories place the twist in the final moments for maximum shock value, while others reveal it slightly earlier to explore the consequences. The choice depends on whether the storyteller prioritizes the twist as an ending or as a gateway to a new understanding of the story's world. Critically, the best twist endings serve deeper purposes beyond mere surprise. They illuminate hidden themes, expose character truths, or comment on the nature of storytelling itself. When a twist merely exists for shock value, it often feels hollow upon reflection. But when it reveals something fundamental about human nature, perception, or reality, it transcends gimmickry to become art. The difference lies in whether the twist changes what we think about the story or what we think about ourselves. Modern audiences have become increasingly twist-savvy, necessitating more sophisticated execution. Where early twist endings could rely on simple concealment, contemporary versions often employ layered misdirection or meta-commentary on the audience's expectations. Some stories even build multiple potential twists, only to subvert the subversion. This evolving dynamic between creator and consumer has elevated the twist ending from cheap trick to high narrative art. The aftermath of experiencing a great twist ending resembles solving an optical illusion. The story hasn't changed, but our perception of it can never return to what it was. This perceptual shift marks the twist's true brilliance, proving that the most powerful stories don't just unfold before us, but continue evolving within us long after the final revelation. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.